Yes, sir.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you for joining us on another installment of Nothing New Under the Sun. This is episode 3. I am your host, T-Squared.
And this your man, GOD, baby.
Bringing you another episode. This episode is titled The Mirror of Life and How Reality Reflects the Inner World. This is where we bring, scripture, universal law, and timeless wisdom. Not to give you something new, but to remind you of what has always been. Because under the sun, there is nothing new, only truth remembered. So, in this episode about how reality reflects the inner world, before we get into that, we're going to recap the last episode that we explored for a little bit, which was the law of resonance. And this principle that says you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So whatever vibration you're holding, that is what you're going to be attracting to you.
That's it. Resonance is the principle of maintaining both your thought and your desire on a particular experience of I am. If you can focus the possibility and the desire in both your thought and your heart, or your whatever, right? Mind and heart, you can manifest the I am experiences.
Right. So it's a clear message that life meets you at the frequency you live at. So if you want something different, don't chase it, become it. All right, now diving into today's episode. So today we want to go deeper with another universal truth, the law of reflection. And this principle says the outer world is a mirror of your inner world. Life doesn't lie to you. It reflects you. So in cryonics, reality doesn't lie, it only mirrors. In Hermetic teachings, as within, so without. As above, so below. In the Bible, it says in James chapter 1, verse 23 through 24, for if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. Hold on. Let's get the rest of that. It only gave me part.
Or you want the whole thing?
I want the whole thing. We need the whole thing.
You need the whole
We
thing.
want the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And we're gonna do
As we get that
King James version, because that's mostly everybody's familiar with. All right, so full verse, James chapter 1, verse 23 to 24. If any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is liketh unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. I know that was a mouthful, but I can read it again. Let me read it again. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth. Yeah. In other words, picking up from where we were left off, when you look at your life, your relationships, your patterns, your results, you're just looking at your reflection. Now, I know that's something that's hard to kind of accept and digest because we're used to putting responsibility on other things outside of ourselves. But it's not punishment, and it's not a random chance. It's just feedback of what you've been putting out as a vibration into the collective. So breaking it down, as far as the mirror principle, right? You think about a mirror. It doesn't argue with you in any capacity. It doesn't lie to you. If you smile, it smiles. If you frown, it frowns.
Even
the outer world works the same way. Go ahead.
No, well, so that power, that realization, right? The mirror principle. If you smile, it smiles. It's all dependent on you. But if you don't like what you don't see, that's an internal thing, right? Like it is based on your thoughts and feelings about yourself. Literally, there's no one else in the room. There's nothing else with you. So when the mirror principle of the control, the influence that you and your own awareness have to influence what you see is so reflective, right? And that word choice. But because the mirror, right, it only smiles. It smiles if you smile. It frowns if you frown. It's ugly if you say it's ugly. So you have you literally have the choice and the influence in the moment to change whatever's in the mirror, but you have to change it internally. That's the only way you can change it. It's a beautiful.
Right. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's happening on the inside or what someone says to you, because ultimately, whatever they said depends on how you feel about it.
On the end, like
Whatever's going on only ever depends about how you feel about it.
if you don't feel or think that way about yourself, like what are you talking about, bro?
It
What are
shouldn't
you
bother you.
what are you even saying? That's nowhere near, because that wouldn't make sense. I wouldn't even entertain thoughts about of me that, but that it's you literally comes down to how you think and feel about yourself at all times. That's the connection.
Right.
Go ahead.
Because a lot of us think that there's a lot of things that we're fighting against, and these demons and devils, and yeah, we could slap some labels on it, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, it's what you think and feel about everything that you have taken in, information wise, whatever you received in, how you feel about it, whatever you're putting out. It's just being reflected back. So the biblical parable connection, because Jesus, he often used seeds in parables. So like the seed is the inner world, and the harvest is the reflection, the manifestation of those seeds that were planted in the inner world, that you are worthy, that you are capable, that you can, you will, those things, those seeds. What you plant in thought, word, and deed eventually shows up in your field of vision, your field of perception,
Your
in your
field of
reality.
creation. Yes.
It shows up in your field. So you have to start to become a little bit more wise and careful what we think about. If you don't want it, you might want to spend some time thinking about something else, something that feels better than what you're feeling about it and how you're perceiving it at that moment. So as far as the identity check, if you don't like what you see, don't break the mirror. Okay, calm down, hold up. Don't shout. Change the reflection by changing what's inside. Okay? Ain't got to crash out. Ain't got to break nothing. Just the habit of what we're thinking. That's all we got to break if you want to break anything. You don't have to cause any physical destruction to the outside world. Were you about to say something?
No, I'm trying to switch up my. I just interrupted you. Yes, I didn't want my phone interrupted the visual. So I'm back here producing. Whenever I'm listening to you, and I'm back here
Yeah.
producing as well. It's just trying. You see, I just moved the logo around. Like I'm doing some things in terms of.
I,
I'm trying to make sure like the back end stuff is going as well too. So my camera, I was just trying to put my phone on do not disturb. In terms of what you just said, all right, so in cryonics, we talk about that field of possibility. When that the your reflection, right? The when you are creating that, well, it was a couple of things I was going to say. First, when you said the seed thing, right? For me, that seed of possibility, that MI for all of intelligence, and the is that's the potential energy. That's the energy that is just that resides within existence to manifest something. Now that energy is directed by thought and desire. Like so there's space to exist, right? And then there's a possibility in that space to exist as a singular thing, to be self-defined. And you as a singular possibility have the ability to define what's possible. But if you cannot see it as a possibility, right? If your thoughts and your desires aren't open to that being something that you can do, it will never manifest. And that is the true power, right? And so I was thinking about that, just the seed thing. And then I think that was it. Right. And then when you say if you don't like what you see, don't try to break the
right.
mirror. Change the reflection by changing what's inside. Your thoughts and emotions about yourself make up all of your life. If you can look in the mirror and say, I like me, I think I'm beautiful, I think I'm intelligent, I think I'm, these are all things you should think about yourself, not they don't think I'm intelligent, they don't think I'm capable, they don't. Forget, if you can control your thoughts about you, is it possible for you to be that? And then the authority is to know that if it's possible for any existence, then it's possible for you. And I always make this reference. I know I'm drifting off, but I think about the things that we have done, the accomplishments. I think about flight, right? Flight existed in this plane. We've seen it. We as conscious beings were able to witness flight, and there were those IMs that said flight is possible here. Other people was like, yo, it's impossible. We can't fly. I was like, no, flight is possible in this land of existence. It's possible here. The birds, the things around us are bugs. There are things that are that's showing us that flight is possible. Now, all we need to do is figure out how they were able to accomplish that, and we did. If it's possible, so if it's possible to live freely and abundantly, if it's possible to live beautifully and judgment free, it's a possibility for you. You just have to be open to it.
Imagine the possibilities.
Imagine the possibility.
They're endless.
Right.
Imagine the possibilities.
But so I wanted to, but you're how that goes back to reflection. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Think about your life in terms of whatever you don't see manifesting or whatever you see manifested is because of what you think is possible and not possible for you. You have the current job you have because you don't think it's possible to get ones that pay more. You're gonna say you don't have the degree, you don't have the qualifications or whatever.
Right.
Or it's because you don't really want to do that. But it's all comes down to what you think and feel about you.
And here's the beautiful part about that. And this is one thing we have to understand, because we live in a vibrational reality. And even for this vibrational reality to exist, we know two things must be possible. It has to have balance. So positive and negative was created at the same time. The same thing takes place with your thought process. So when you know what you don't want, automatically what you do want, you know that too. And it's there. And it has to exist at the same time for it to even be a possibility.
For it to be a possibility.
So you have to navigate your way emotionally over to that possibility.
But the joy is that the only way you even become, most of the time you become aware of the possibility, is birthed through that lack of experience. Is through that.
That's true.
Like, no, I don't want this.
Yes, and that's
I
the
don't
beauty
want
of
this.
it. Because
Yes.
once you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So you can begin to shift how you feel about that thing you're thinking about.
1,000%. But the true power is if you can reflect that what you truly do want, that state of being, if you can
standing in alignment with who you truly are.
With who you truly are. Because the reason why you recognize that that's not what you want, because it's not who you truly are. That's why it was so uncomfortable for you. That's why I cause so much pain. That's why I cause so much suffering, because it's not relative to who you truly are. You were being something different than what you were meant to be. You tried it. It didn't work, but then you stayed longer than you were supposed to. You felt obligated. You felt the duty. You didn't want to hurt them, but you needed to remove yourself from that. It was time, because
that's it.
It wasn't a part of who you truly are. The things that you do.
These are soul urges. Like when you understand what we talked about previous, how you are the infinite, and the infinite doesn't want anything but good. Although both parts exist, the part of free will choice that we have is to choose which one. So
that's the point. That's the good. That's the part that where
good.
When it's your choice, there are things we do. Like I consider myself to be an enlightened being. There are some things that I love that are debaucherous according to other people's standards. I enjoy those things. Now, out of my free will choice to do those things, when I'm aware of the dangers and I do them, like it's like skydiving, right? Skydiving is said to be one of the most.
Who jumps out of a perfectly good plane for fun?
Who jumps out of a perfectly good plane for fun, right? People that know the freedom to do that, to have the freedom to make that decision, to live through it. That's the freedom, is that I had the ability to choose, and I chose over fear. That's, and whether it be but that's those are the time when you make those decisions where people would question out of choice. It's like Jesus said this, right? If you are to follow me, willingly give up. Like people be like, why are you giving away everything? How you think if you did what Jesus said do, how would you be received? Why would you just give up all of that, quote unquote, for nothing? It wouldn't look normal, but you would be following Christ to the T.
Because we have been misled on what is of importance while we're here. There's accumulation of quote unquote material things that have become more important than the growth that your soul requires. And it's going to push you to it. You're never going to get away from it.
Well, So when you, that's the funny thing. I've found my faith so much more in developing this whatever cryonics, because forgive them for they know not what they do. When he was like, "Yo," when you just said it's people like we've been taught or led to believe, right, and focus, whatever it is. There are forces that are intentionally taking our attention away from that which we know to be true to that which we know to be uh a reflection of truth, right? The physical is only a reflection of the truth, which is your true energetic self, right? All right. So
That's it.
they shifted the focus or whatever, but it's like forgive them for they know not what to do, because as much as you shift in the focus through that is going to birth a suffering, a dissension that will cause a separation from that which is causing the discomfort, and it will balance back out to be that which is supposed to be.
And that was, according to the story, that was Jesus' whole point of coming. He didn't come to, he caught to bring division. He came to bring the sword because we lost direction and connection
Mm-hmm.
to our true
Mm-hmm.
origination.
A
Came
thousand
attached
percent.
to these so-called things that had manifested. So
Instead of being the
the whole
energy
interpretation
that
that,
is.
yeah, that someone's coming to save. No, he laid the foundation. He showed the way. That,
Mm-hmm.
but the
I
consciousness,
am
that
the
energy
way. Yeah. Detachment.
has always been in you. Now it's just being called forth. It's called forth. Those urges that you have, those uncomfortabilities of being in the places where you are, that it's being called forth. It's in that era, it's in that time, that energetic alignment where it's being called forth.
And it has to be confronted,
It
because
does.
it's either you gonna be that chalk it, just chalk it, bro. Like if you like, yo, you keep being miserable in it, it's either you gonna be that or you gonna be this, but you can't be miserable in it, right? That's what we coming to.
You
To
can't have
that point
both.
in time where, yeah, we coming to that point in time where, like, all right, y'all,
You can't
choose,
have both.
right?
You can't be
Are you
miserable
look,
and one
listen?
better.
Yeah, what is it going to be? Or do you want better? All right, then you don't want. Then like you're not miserable. You are transitioning. You don't want this. Let it go. I'm willingly letting go anything that's no longer serving me because I didn't want it. So I'm not
You don't
miserable
need to
about it. People
crash
are like, oh,
out.
well, like what happened to this? Yeah, what the fuck? I didn't want it. I didn't want it. Well,
No need
what's up with
to
that
no
job?
need to crash out.
I didn't want it. That relationship.
Because
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really didn't want it.
the one thing that's also says anything that is removed is always replaced with something better. But you know why it's replaced with something better? Because you started thinking better about yourself and what you wanted. That's why it becomes better.
But I think that
You attract better.
I'm
You become
yes. You will
you become
only
in
attract,
alignment.
so you will attract more. So people will often think there's some, so what happens is people attract better, right? And then better becomes the same because better becomes what you have. It is when this is where the ultimate fulfillment comes, is when you become better. When it's not it's that I'm going to provide that for myself. So much so
Mm-hmm.
that, yes, I'm going to continue to attract that, more of that to me, but that the perception of it, that if an entity of existence comes into my space of existence and it is beneficial or it is a added bonus of support, love, and whatever, of light and resonance or whatever, it's a beautiful thing and experience, and it can be expanded with. But I will remain the true source of light, movement, motion, love, all of it in my universe. I'm going to remain the primary source of that, and I will only share with those who are willing to share equally, but remain in complete governance of their own power as well. Right? They are aware of their power and they're willing to share. And it's not 50-50. It's what's a necessity to the situation. I will give you more than what I got if you give me more than what you got when you need it. And we've been in those relationships where that feel like, when you know that exchange, and I'm the solution to my problem. But if you're not going to help me solve it, get out my way, please, because I'm not going to live like this. I'm not going to be miserable with a problem I know I can solve. I can do something about it. I know I can do something.
Right, right. That's true. So that's the thing. We have to become comfortable with letting some things go. People, places, things. Like it's okay. We'll be too attached to things. So like how do we work with the law of reflection? So there's some awareness practice for you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
each night, reflective time. You look back on your day and ask yourself, what did life reflect back to me today? Just take some time. There's a lot of inner reflection and inner work that has to be done in order to change the outside. So we have to shift the input and replace negative self talk with scriptures or affirmations that align with truth in that process of reflecting. Even if it reflected back to something that you didn't like, you can shift that situation or the self talk to align with something that you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of something like I'm not enough, you can affirm that, hey, I and my Father are one. You're always enough when you understand that. And you always
Mm-hmm.
have everything you need when you not believe, because belief is a doubt. When you know and live from that overstanding. So you can begin to reframe challenges of steady asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this showing me about myself? You'll begin to see some things that are a little bit differently lined up than what you thought if you reflect inward versus what you see on the outside. So just remember in this process of awareness practice and shifting input and reframing your challenges that life isn't against you. Like it's working in your favor. It's a mirror for you to show you where you are with your manifestations and your desires and things that you hold in your head, where you're limiting yourself, where you're putting too much of yourself. It's going to help you identify all of those things to help you realign with what makes you you. So, in closing of today's show about the mirror principle, because it's not new, nothing here we're doing is new.
Nothing
It's
new under
ancient.
the sun.
It's written in the Bible, it's in Hermetic law, and in the very structure of the universe that we live in. Your life is a mirror. Your choices are a brush, and God provided the canvas, continues to provide the canvas. So this week, don't fight the reflection. Use it, learn from it, and remember when you change the inside, the outside must follow. This has been Nothing New Under the Sun. I'm T-Squared.
This your man GOD, baby.
And we're reminding you, God and you are one. The universe and you are one. Remember who you are. Peace.